But so like, they'll want to go to a map where they don't have to show all their strats, or a map that they're not gonna want to, like, you know, ban out or show.
Yeah. One breakout player, in my opinion, for Scylla's Guerrillas is going to be Mex. He's had a really good showing throughout the season, being the top fragger for his team consistently. And right away, Scylla's Guerrillas banning off the Jackal. That is a pretty okay ban. It's not one that you normally see on Coastline, but Sonic's going to ban out the Glass. That's more of a target ban towards Mex. Mex's Glass play has been pretty top notch throughout the season whenever he has been on it. And right away, we're going to be seeing Mira taken off the board. Mira, a very tough operator to deal with on this matchup, and we'll be seeing who the fourth and final operator will be get played, banned out. My opinion, it's either going to be Echo or Maestro. What do
I
you
think the
think?
Maestro is a lot easier to deal. Sorry, like a lot
Harder?
harder to deal with, right? So you want to ban out the Maestro, you want to keep the Echo here, and he's much easier to deal with. The last time that Sonics played here on Coastline against Elevate, they banned the same operators. They banned the Glass and they banned the Mirror. And Sonics tend to be that kind of team. They ban out the same operators every single time they go to a map. And I kind of get the feeling from them, they're saving a lot expecting to make playoffs here.
I think so. But also, one thing to point out is that the last time that Sonics were here on Coastline, like you mentioned against Elevate, Elevate absolutely decimated the Sonics in a 7-2 fashion. The Sonics only able to win one round, both on attack and defense. And I was honestly absolutely surprised to see that the Sonics were being smacked into the ground that hard. I casted that match with Corn Pop. So
So, let's move through into round number one and see exactly how it's going to go down on Coastline here. That's going to be Scylla's Guerrillas start their defense here on Kitchen defense. I mean, this is a pretty typical first site to go. You go here or you go Billiards, right? As the first defensive mirrors band. So nothing too unexpected here, and the lineup's pretty expected as well. What do you think about the attack lineup?
So you normally have Avian on the smoke operator, which will be more than likely Habitat, which is what he's taking. Ghost more than likely than not will run Zofia. You have Goddess as your hard breacher, although this map is dubbed to be a map that you don't really need a hard breacher with, but they're going to bring it just in case to open up the triple wall as we last saw them on this map. You have Neptune's on the buck for soft destruction, and then you have Super, pretty much the flex operator, whatever the team might need. This time around, they're going to be bringing in IQ, mostly just due to the fact that Echo's the only real ACOG and plant denial operator that'll be coming out for Scylla's Guerrillas.
Interesting Valkyrie cannon placements coming out here. I mean, Sunrise Bar is just one of those places you get control of it. You can normally just get a lot of control. I get the feeling, though, from Sonics in their lineup that they're not going to do that. Because you ever tend to do that if you've got a Glaz. Obviously, Glaz has been banned out by Sonics. Not going to be wanting to do too much of that. I feel like this is going to be very heavily vertical play based. I mean, you say they opened up triple wall, kind of where Beer is as well. So we kind of get the feeling they're just going to like smoke off and try and push service entrance while having the vertical plate to support that. But it's going to be mixed with a run out that gets Avian. And he gets away with it as well. Oh my god, this man just jumped out of White Stairs and got a kill. Oh no.
Absolutely insane start to the matchup. Mex going absolutely bonkers. Takes down Avian. That's a huge dent into the attack coming out from Sonics. That's the only smoke operator for the Sonics, and he has fallen in the first minute. So this is going to be shaking things up, especially for how Sonics managed to play it out. Either way, Super will be droning out the Jaeger and the Doc sitting over by couches. Going to see how this plays on out. Super sitting inside of luggage. Have to be playing a bit patient, but it's gonna be Temper getting really aggressive on these stairs here, trying to challenge Super inside of luggage.
Yeah, he could be holding it down, but I mean, it's a 5v4. I don't know what that Nitro was about, but the Nitro went off from loading, and he's going to be able to hold down that angle quite well into luggage. Super is aware that it's open, but he's not going to be able to find the kill just yet. Pushing all the way through, Ghost has managed to get control of Theater, as Temper does take down Super. However, it's now a 5v3, and this is really looking very bad for Sonics, but Ghost is going to strike back. He gets one kill. He can't find the second just yet. Oh, no. Ghost. That is not good, but Temper does get away with it, gets all the way back into lobby loading, supporting him as well as he moves through on the rotate. But this hole is opened up. That's going to allow Goddess to should be able to get open triple wall, as Temper has managed to move all the way through onto the bottom of the stairs. But there's the man advantage, and there's so much utility available for Scylla's right now.
Yeah, you're gonna have Goddess sitting outside of Lamborghini doorway. Temper will be situated inside of lobby, not loading inside of the service entrance. Gonna get a peek on out. Can he take down Goddess? No, he will not. He'll eventually make the smart move to rotate on back, but Ghost is gonna go big and take down not loading outside of the service entrance doorway. 20 seconds left to play. You still have Abonai with those toxic babes left and 15 seconds left to play on out. Plant needs to come down now for Goddess, and Nate will come on through and find Abonai. Those toxic babes will no longer be of use. It's all up to Temper and Nugs, but Nugs sitting in a good position. Will have to use those yokai drones in the perfect spot. He'll be able to stop the diffuse plant from coming on down, and Scylla's Guerrillas will win out round number 1 against the Susquehanna Soniqs, and a great play to come on out from Nugs, and great discipline to not overextend and overpeak coming out from Temper inside of lobby.
I feel like that round was won and lost as soon as Capitao died. I mean, Avian dying as early as he did and losing your IQ as well, you lose like two of the most powerful bits of utility that you have available to yourselves.
Yeah, you lose this Capitao, you lose the IQ, the smokes are gone, you can't find those Echo Drones as easily anymore. And Nugs played it absolutely perfectly, just hiding all the way in pink bar. Nobody thought to even go check back there because they were so focused and so time constrained for getting the plant down that Nugs had the prime opportunity to use those yokai drones to the fullest potential and be able to stop that plant coming down from Soniqs. A great round to come out from Scylla's Guerrillas. And, you know, like I mentioned before, Scylla's Guerrillas, they're a team that's pretty unpredictable, as we saw with Mex on that run out from the white stairs. And just an absolute insane performance to come on out in that first round. It keys them their first round win against the Soniqs, and I think the last time that we played them out, it wasn't too strong of a showing, but this time around, the Scylla's Guerrillas look to be a lot more stronger and a lot more coordinated in how they managed to utilize their defense.
Yeah, they have. And the interesting thing is, we talked about the IQ and the Capitao getting picked so early on. They were the only kills from Scylla's.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it just proves how powerful losing such heavy utility early on. And Sonics has always been a team that relies quite heavily on those, like, Capitao pushes, and it can be pretty powerful. I mean, Capitao, I don't think he's underrated anymore, but he is a very, very powerful operator in the right hands, and Avian is definitely the hands for that. So, losing Capitao early on could be devastating here. Echo has been used pretty effectively already from Nergs. Loading's reinforcing halfway into the round.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my god, Mex with an absolutely insane one tap. I think that was through the doorway, if I'm not mistaken.
He saw the legs and he was pre-aiming at the head level. Mex is going to be very happy with that, especially super going down that early on and losing your IQ. That's devastating.
Especially with the yokai drone still on the board, so huge impact frag coming out from Mex yet again. And honestly, Mex, one of the breakout stars in all of North American Challenge League, and if that frag doesn't prove why, I don't know what will. But Temper gonna go huge onto Ghost, and that'll be the entry fragger dead for the Soniqs. This is looking really bad right now for the Soniqs, but you have Neptune sitting inside a blue bar. He's gonna get droned on out from the yokai. Huge and easy free frag to come on out from not loading. Goddess finally shuts down a Mex, but this is still, yet again, not looking good for the Soniqs as they're sitting at a 2v4 deficit. It's all up to Avian and Goddess to try to clutch things on out, which can still happen considering that you still have Avian alive with those smoke bolts, but the way that things have been happening, it's not likely.
It's not likely, but you still have a lot of utility from Sonics. I mean, Goddess still has full utility right now. She still has all 3 Escaras and still all 3 stun grenades. I imagine that Avian's in a fairly similar position with his utility, and yet he has full utility up as well. So you've got a lot of time to work with here. I mean, 50 seconds is still a decent amount of time to work with, but they need to start to push together and need to start to use that that equipment effectively. But Goddess doesn't get any of it off, unfortunately. Abonai is going to shut her down. It's all down to Avian. And I think at this point, you just got to chill and you just got to talk it out. I think Avian can clutch this. He does have Diffuser. I mean, unless he can go for some sort of like weird smoke plant, I don't think he's going to go with anything. There you go. The Echo Drone is going to hit him. And then we get Temper is going to shut him down. Still, as Guerrillas do take round number 2. And they're looking really good on coastline. And as I said, I think if you're going to take Sonics anywhere, you want to take them to coastline.
Yeah. Their coastline so far, from what we've seen, first against Elevate, now, even they look really weak compared to how their Villa game is, to how their Clubhouse game is. And, Scylla's Gorillas have completely matured as a team from their first half of the season, and it's clearly evident in this matchup, being able to take down two pretty clean rounds, losing only one member each round as this matchup has progressed.
So, moving further through, we are going to go for a blue bar and sunrise bar defense. This is pretty difficult, I would say, without a mirror. I mean, there's basically two ways you can do this. You can, like, hold below, and you can, like, open up the blue bar wall, and you can, like, hold it from the backside of courtyard, and you can hold down kitchen, which is look like what they're going to do. Or you can hold it from upstairs. I feel like I'm getting the kind of vibe that they're going to do the kitchen hold, but then they're going to do an upstairs hold as well, because where the reinforcements are going down.
Yeah. Also, one thing that I wanted to point out as well is that since Challenger League has back-to-back playdays for all 8 teams, obviously the map that was auto banned out was Clubhouse, which I honestly think is Soniqs' best map. So, looking back at how the bans went out, Scylla's Girl was making the smart choice to ban out Villa as well as Bank. This is looking really, really good now for SG, considering that they've gone 2 rounds without really too much of interference. But, Soniqs have managed to prove themselves time and time again that they can bounce back and win out a round.
They definitely have done, but it's going to be Avian who picks up the entry kill. This time it's going to be Mex who suffers that opening death rather than his victim. I mean, Mex has done some very interesting things this game already, so I think it's fair for him to die instantly this time rather than him get away with something else again.
Yeah.
We're going to go for it.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that. First round, he jumped out of White Stairs window, took down Avian. Next round, I think it was also onto Super, if I'm not mistaken. But
yeah,
Mex, like I've mentioned before, Scylla's Gorillas are a team that is completely unpredictable. And if you're not careful, that unpredictableness can bite you in the butt. And as we've seen so far throughout the first 2 rounds, it's clearly what's happened. But either way, Mex will be the first one to fall finally, instead of either Avian or Super.
He's going to be holding down. So he's about halfway into the round now, almost. The Super has control of luggage, and it's a 5v4 situation. If Soniqs can win any round, it's going to be this one, as Goddess picks up not learning as he attempts to rotate through. But Abanai is going to be able to go and kill Ghost, but Avian's going to instantly trade it back. So now a 4v2 situation, all down to Temper and Noakes to bring it back. But they've still got plenty of time left on the clock for Soniqs to drone out these rest 2 defenders and get the control that they need. Nugs is just going to be playing around Sunrise Bar as Temper on the lobby as well. So they still have the control that they need as well. Blue Bar has been opened up by Goddess. They should be able to go for the plant sooner rather than later. Courtyard is going to get smoked off, and Avian expects the peek from Nugs and takes it down instantly. Pre-fires go down from Temper through the smoke. He takes down Goddess. Beautiful pick from him. Just off the back of that info from Valkyrie cameras in the site. As Temper just going to be holding down. Even going to go for the plant as well now. As 45 seconds left to go on the clock. They've got to know Temper's rotating through office, and he will do so. Avian will expect it and take him down. So I need to find their very first round. Some great heads-up plays coming out from Avian here.
Yeah, I think Temper got ghosted right there. But either way, a great round coming out from Soniqs. Finally putting themselves on the board, and Avian just trying to carry his best right now, posting up 4 frags for the Soniqs, compared to Goddesses and Ghosts 2. Meanwhile, on the Scylla's Gorilla side of things, it's pretty much the same score sheet, but either way, Scylla's Gorillas managed to win out the first 2 rounds. And the first round really wasn't too much of a frag fest. It was more just time management that really came down to it, and losing both the Capital and the IQ in that first round really hurt how the attack went down for the Soniqs, and you just had Nugs being able to utilize that Yokai drone and stop the plant from happening. But we'll see a 6-pick come out from the Tachanka away to the Valkyrie. That'll be Nugs. I'm a bit surprised that he chose to switch off to the Tachanka, or even that he picked the Tachanka, I should say. But the last time that we were here inside of Penthouse, we had Mex. Wait, no, this is the first time we're seeing Penthouse, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so never mind. Scratch that comment.
Okay. Just delete the it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, either way, Scylla's Girls will be setting up inside a Penthouse now. Mech's gonna be placing a bulletproof camera on the east wall over by the big window, so that'll be some good intel moving on through. No Maestro coming out for this time around, which is interesting. Oh no, Maestro was banned. I'm sorry. No Echo.
Are you good, Chris?
No Echo. Yeah, I'm good. I keep messing up between Echo and Maestro for some reason. I know that they're both.
They look
ACOG
very
defenders.
similar. I agree.
Yeah.
One's Japanese,
they do
one's
the same
Italian.
thing.
I mean, yeah. Let's just move on as
Yeah.
we get into round number 4. We're gonna go through a penalty to defense, and yeah, I kind of mentioned earlier that this is a pretty hard defense to do if you don't have a mirror, and it tends to not be a great choice for teams. I feel like this is just them trying to throw off Soniqs by, like, you know, you're going to expect them to go back to kitchen service entrance. But the thing is with Soniqs is they tend to take the same operator lineup no matter where they're attacking. And we see that pretty much constantly from them.
Yeah. Super already taken a bit of early damage. I'm not exactly too sure from who. But Mex will go ahead and rotate on up the white stairs now. With Temper sitting inside of luggage. The Soniqs going to be trying to attempt to take VIP from what it looks like. Maybe they'll try to pinch in from Hookah and see if they can shut down Nug sitting over by those cool vibe stairs.
Hopefully you should be able to shut him down. I mean, Mech's on the dock again. I'm kind of expecting to play pretty aggressively again. And, I mean, he was just trying to get away with these really weird things going on. And it was working well for him on the dock before. So, I mean, I'm kind of expecting him to just play super aggro on it, which isn't honestly a bad thing to do with an ACOG on defense on Coastline, but that's not good. Super with an insane flick takes down Nugs and not loading. Picks up a double kill for himself there, defending the kitchen. They can't trade him out as we move into the second half of the round. And he's just single-handedly just took out so much there. What a great bait from Super.
A really great bait indeed. I'm a bit surprised as to why not loading wasn't prepared for that the moment he tossed out the impact, because he threw it at the wall and just kept sprinting towards the hole. But already Goddess is going for the plant behind the bed. This is looking really bad now for Scylla's Guerrillas as finally Neptunes takes down Mex. Temporary rotates into Courtyard and takes down Super inside a kitchen, but Plants has already gone down. Meanwhile, Abonai is going to be shut down from Ghost sitting inside of Hall of Fame. It's all up to Temper in a 1v4 situation. A third of the diffuser cycle has gone down. Temper's going to go for some pre-fires now, riding on up the cool vibe stairs, but it looks like Temper might just be trying to play for time here and bait out some exit frags.
He will go for it. He does get an incredible exit frag. There goes Neptunes, and now it's a 3v1 situation on onto Temper, and the diffuser slowly doing its work as he goes for the pre-fires down into VIP. Can't fight quite the kill, but no, Ghost does take him down. Soniqs take round number 4. Beautifully done from them, and they even things up to a piece. And that's actually more attack rounds won this game on Coastline than they won against Elevate. They only won 1 attack round against Elevate on Coastline.
Yeah, I was actually about to make that point if you hadn't, but we're tied now at 2 apiece. This is the most amount of rounds for attack, at least for Soniqs, that they've won on Coastline throughout the season. Mex going back on the dock, going back into kitchen and service entrance. We'll see if Scylla's Girls try to go for some unexpected plays yet again. Maybe considering that the last time they were here and Avian might have learned his lesson to be prepared for that jump out. We'll see if they manage to adapt their attack strategy. I'm really curious to see how this round is going to be played out, but we'll have a 6 pick from Elysian over to Elysian. That'll be a good fake out for the attackers.
Yeah, Legion onto Elysian. I mean, one's arguably better operator than the other, as we will go through for another kitchen service entrance defense coming out from Scylla's Guerrillas. This was an insanely well-played match by them. When they went here last time, Mex got the interesting opening frag of jumping out White Stairs window and killing Avian, but the important frags that they got early on, they killed the IQ and they killed the Capitao, won them the round, and those were the only 2 kills they got during that round. And it just goes to show you don't really need to kill everyone to win the round, that just playing the time and just playing safe around this area can do you a lot of justice. So I feel like Sonic's going to move a lot faster here than they did last time.
Yeah, you have 4 members of Soniqs moving on up from the main lobby entrance with Goddess on the drone. You have Ghost and Neptunes moving on up on the north side of things with Avian pinching on through the south side. Meanwhile, Super, the only member of Soniqs moving on in from the ruins. I think Super's going to go in for a run through into office. This will be setting up a claymore outside of the penthouse window to catch anyone off guard. But already the kitchen window is going to start to get opened on up from the Sonics.
Yeah, it's going to start to get opened up indeed. Zabanai just going to be having a great angle below the VIP window here. As Neptune's going to go for the pre-fire, see what he can do. Just gets his IQ scanner out, so there's nothing going on here just yet. It moves all the way. It's kind of ironic that that happened. That he had his IQ scanner out and he didn't see that Legion mine. That's unfortunate, but
Yeah.
he's going to take a little bit of damage. It's not going to be too bad for him.
Yeah, only lose about 10 points of health now. And if he gets fragged by another teammate, that'll be an assist for not loading. But Avian being weary of the White Stars run out, as you can clearly see. Super making his entrance on in through Aquarium. It's going to be Temper sitting inside of luggage, getting into a scuffle, but Super will choose to ignore him for the time being and regroup with this team. Meanwhile, pings are starting to come out. That's going to be the... I think that's not loading right underneath the window. And Mech's going for a huge, really risky play, and he'll pay the price.
I see this guy proning beneath White Stairs, and I'm like, yeah, this guy's 100% Mechs on Doc trying to do something. But there we go. He's not going to get away with it this time. He's going to go down for him. We see a predictable attack now coming out from Soniqs. I feel like they're going to try and maybe open this hatch that Ghost is looking at and open up triple wall. I mean, we did talk about that with the Habana opening a triple and then holding down that bathroom rotate so they can go for the plant surface entrance. And that's kind of what they were trying to do last time. But we didn't quite see it come to its fruition. So we will see lots of drones start to come out, lots of info, but 5v4 situation. This is not looking good for Scilla's Guerrillas, but time is on their side. They have plenty of utilities still available to themselves, as Abanai still holding down into the kitchen. There should be Yokai drones still available as well, as more Legion mines are going to go down. Loading, still holding down security room, waiting for any pushes to come down whatsoever. As Avian outside the front door, seeing what he can do. But 30 seconds left to go on the clock. Things really need to start getting moving for Soniqs here, as the smoke should start to come out from Avian, but the counter smoke is going to come out from Abanai to try and deny any sort of entrance here from Soniqs.
Yeah, Abanai has been down. He'll get finished off by Ghost. 15 seconds left to play out. Neptune's really is waiting for that Yokai drone to make a move on through. He'll be able to take it down, and the plant will successfully come down from Goddess. Moving on through is going to be a team kill from Neptune's, but he'll end up getting the trade out onto not loading regardless. Ghost gets the frag onto Temper, hopping out of Penthouse, and Ghost picks up a third onto Nugs, and the Soniqs went out their third round against Scylla's Guerrillas.
So, I get the feeling that Scylla's Guerrillas had a lot of ideas of how weird to play against Soniqs here, and they did them all in the first 2 rounds, and now, you know, same trick doesn't work twice in a row. There's quite a lot of similar things coming out from Scylla's that just aren't working now, that Soniqs have managed to catch up and do what they do best. But 3-3, definitely not a bad scoreline to go into the defense on the coastline, but 4-2 is definitely ideal here for Soniqs. Scylla's Guerrillas not looking too good, and I feel like their playstyle is not going to work well on the attack, as it has done on the defense.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And moving on to the final round of attack for the Soniqs, as well as the final round of defense, we'll be moving on upstairs into Hookah. And the way that things have been playing out for Scylla's Guerrillas, it'll be really interesting to see, considering that, you know, you don't normally win defense rounds on coastline, considering how so attacker-sided it's been. But if Scylla's Guerrillas manage to win out this round, I think they'll be pretty set to move on with their attacks and have a lot of confidence to kind of utilize how they can prepare and go up against the Soniqs' defenses.
Yeah, so far this season, I'm pretty sure that the limited times that we have seen coastline, most rounds have gone to attackers. I'm just quickly looking through on my notes. Yeah, it has been a very, very attacker-sided map so far in Challenger League this season in NA. Especially one match to note is when we had a draw between Arbad and Disrupt on coastline, and it was 4 attacker wins on each side. So, and Glads was banned there as well.
Yeah, that's really interesting to note too. Already, first 30 seconds actually will not have too much action. I'm a bit curious to see how Soniqs are gonna utilize their attack. It looks to be that they might try to enter in from both Aquarium and through VIP to try to pinch on through. Maybe get a duo combo rotating on each side, and you'll just have Avian on the roof. They'll elect to rappel on out over from the rooftop down to, I think it'll be over at White Stairs, and that's going to be Mex sitting nearby. Mex, if he's not careful, it's going to be Avian on the window. Be a really early scuffle.
I don't like this from Mex, if I'm being honest, Chris. Yeah, I mean, he's trying to do it every single round, and it's just not smart. That's the crux of it, right? It's just not smart holding there, but he's going to go down. Abanai does find Neptunes, however, and it's going to turn into a 4v4, and more importantly, the IQ off the board, and this Echo has been a little bit of an issue.
Yeah. One thing I also want to point out is that whenever you watch Scilla's Guerrillas play, especially on coastline, normally, often than not, you'll have Mex play in that position, regardless if it's, regardless of the bomb site, just considering that's how Scilla's Guerrillas like to play their roam game. Unfortunately, Mex didn't have any kind of intel warning him that Ghost was already inside of Aquarium, just due to the fact that the anchors weren't on cams rotating around and giving him that heads-up play. But Temper is going to finally avenge Mex, taking down Ghost beneath inside of Office. That's going to be Avian sitting on the Capital right outside of Aquarium balcony. This is now a 3v4 situation with less than a minute left to play. Things are starting to get interesting, and the Sonics need to make something happen.
To me, as long as Sonics still have, you know, at least 3 people up, and they still have the Capital or the IQ up, they can still make quite a lot of things happen. But Super's going to trade him out. Temper goes down, but Abanai takes down Avian. He makes his way all the way into the site. Loading takes down Super, and now it's all down to Goddess in a 1v3 clutch situation. But Nugs won't let her have it, as Scilla's Guerrillas take round number 6, and they even things up 3 apiece. But honestly, this isn't a great situation for Scilla's to be in right now.
You don't think so?
Well, like, we've said how it's mostly attacker-sided, and you would expect attackers to have 4 rounds here, and I would agree with that. But from the way that Scilla's has been playing, has been very weird, very aggressive. That can work quite easily on defense. We saw the same thing from Arbad, right? When they were playing defense just before with Team Squad, they were doing so much better with this, like, very fast and loose play style when they were on defense. When they wanted to attack, it was clear that wasn't going to happen as easily.
Yeah, I mean, also, like I mentioned before, it's that Scilla's Guerrillas like to play unorthodox. They are a very aggressive and unpredictable team. It's just their play style. I'm used to seeing these weird plays coming out just because I casted them throughout the qualifiers. Funny story, actually, that, what's it called? I think it's, yeah, it was Abanai. He told me that I was Scilla's Guerrillas' good luck charm for getting into Challenge League, because I casted every single match that they had from the first playday, or after the first playday of playoffs, when they beat out Least Wanted. I casted them from rounds 2 through 4, and they made it all the way into Challenge League. So when that happened, Abanai just sent me a message saying that, yo, you should be casting all of our matches because you're a good luck charm. I'm like, that's not up to me. But so far, it looks to be that kind of way. I seem to have that kind of charm effect on Scilla's Guerrillas.
Good luck, charm. Do you think that you being here casting their match now means they're going to come out with a win here?
I think so. The first match that I cast for them this season proved otherwise, where they lost pretty badly. But, you know, this matchup, they seem to be on their toes. They seem to be ready, mostly, for what Sonics have been throwing at them. And the scoreline proves it. You know, they've managed to win 3 out of 6 defense rounds. And with Mex on Ash, it's a bit scary, just considering the fact of how much fragging power he's done throughout this entire season. And it's really interesting to see how they're going to manage to break through with their attacks. But Abanai will start to get work done on the Aquarium balcony. With the first 45 seconds out of play, it'll be interesting to see how Scilla's Guerrillas manage to formulate their attack. But compared to how other Black peers have been playing it out, he'll be utilizing that SR-25 compared to the Mark 17.
Yeah, that is interesting. Quite a lot of Blackbeard players do prefer the MK17 with the not so recent damage changes that did come through with that. So you don't see too much SR25, but it does come down to kind of personal preference. It is still a decent DMR, so I'm not completely against that. But yeah, that's kind of like an interesting note to see there. But again, also a good note here is that Hibana's being brought by Nugs here as well. So Loading going to kick things off, however, with a nice frag grenade from below. He's going to pick up Ghost. What? What
I
a
think
nade!
I think he
Oh my
tossed it and just
god.
the ricochet bounced through and managed to find Ghost all the way in pink bar. Ooh, but if Abinai is cautious here, he can find that frag onto the bandit of Avian. But Avian will make the smart rotation on away and place himself behind the reinforced wall. With Abinai on the rappel here, his plan's going to start to come down. Neptunes takes down Mex, however, but the Yokai drone is not in a good position to shut things down. However, Goddess will spot it out, but the Yokai drone gets shot out from Abinai. Neptunes and not loading are going to trade out onto each other. 3v3 Plant has gone down. Super moving in from Luggage. He'll be taken down. Avian finds one. It's all up to not loading. Avian on very low HP. And he's swinging on through. Not loading finds one, but Avian takes him down. Finally getting the trade in. Soniqs will move on up and take their first lead against, the second lead against Scylla's Guerrillas.
Really good trading coming out from Sonics, as you said. I mean, that whole retake was them just playing off trades each other. So yeah, they did really, really well on that coordinated push. Great communication coming out from Sonics there to go for that retake. It was so unfortunate what happened with that Echo drone. But I mean, that's just kind of heads up plays from Scylla's Guerrillas to take it down where they could. Echo's been an interesting factor here, I would say.
Yeah, he's made or break some of the rounds depending on if he, one, gets spotted out, and two, if the IQ manages to get shut down. On the first half of this map, more often than not, you saw the IQ get shut down, and that really helped Scylla's Guerrillas being able to utilize the Yokai drones, but whenever the IQ wasn't fragged off and those Yokai drones were still in play, as we saw Neptunes, he was able to take down the Yokai drone and prevent the plant from being stopped. So great play to Neptunes when he played on the IQ. And that last round that we saw could have gone either way. I really thought not loading was going to be able to find the two necessary frags needed to, but Avian honestly couldn't have played that position any more perfectly given that the health constraints that they had. He was one shot, and fortunately due to the timing not loading, not able to find the second frag necessary to win out the round. Avian in a great position, was ready for the swing, and that caused Soniqs to win out that first defense round. Also, one thing to note, that Mex was shut down pretty early on. I think it was from Neptunes.
Yes. So, like, Mex has been on this entry role. He had a great couple of first rounds. He hasn't really done much since then, I gotta say. So, like, yeah. I mean, he's playing Ashe, Doc, and he played Valkyrie as well in the third round. When you're playing on those kind of operators, like, opening deaths aren't exactly... I mean, if you're, like, getting traded, then it's fine. Steelers haven't been as good at trading as Sonics have, but it looks like they're just going to try and go straight into kitchen here and go straight for the plant, loading and nugs, and they're all in already. Neptune takes that temper, however, and they know they're all in here. Ghost takes out loading, and yeah, Ghost finishes off onto nugs. So it's all into 5v2. That whole push was just a complete disaster for Steelers here. It's all down to Mex and Abinai to try and do something with this round.
They just kind of blindly pushed into kitchen, and Ghost, just being Ghost, was ready for the push. Takes down two members before anything happened, but already Super getting really aggressive and takes down Mex, who'll be lit up to about 1 HP now. Abinai, the sole member now for Scylla's Guerrillas, and despite a great start, Scylla's looking really lost. And I think that push was not necessary, but Avian's going to be able to be shut down finally from Abinai. All Abinai can really do is just provide himself with some exit frags, and this is not looking well at all for Scylla's Guerrillas to win out the round.
No, it isn't. I think Abinai is just going to, like, just play safe here, and they're just going to talk out the round and just talk about what went wrong. I mean, it should be kind of obvious what went wrong there, that they pushed 3 guys in through kitchen window, and that they didn't do anything. I mean, I don't know if they really pushed blindly there. I don't think you do that kind of push without some kind of intel. But yeah, it was clear that that was a big factor in why that went wrong. You lose 3 guys, 0 trades from Steelers, and it kind of goes back to what I said earlier, that Steelers have not been good at trading frags.
No, they have not been at all. Super, however, on 1 HP as well. You have Neptune sitting upstairs inside of VIP, but because Abinai fired a warning shot, Neptunes will be able to relocate himself deep inside of VIP, but Ghost is there for the exit frag and finishes off Abinai. And Soniqs will move on up to a comfortable 2-round lead, sitting at 5-3.
So, as I said, I feel like this kind of uncoordinated, aggressive playstyle coming out from Steelers is just not going to work on attack. And I those
Yeah,
kind of
so
pushes that they were doing, it's just not been going well in that coordination.
yeah, I agree with you, and it honestly might have looked like a blind push. I don't think that there was any droning going on at the moment that they decided to hop in through. They could have had Abnai MX kind of drone out the site, see exactly where the defenders are playing. Because if you noticed how the buck of Temper, I think Temper was on the buck. No, it was not loading. Just they were looking, not exactly too sure where the peaks are going to come from. And Ghost just wide swung, found 2 frags for himself, and just really poor positioning and a poor performance coming out from Scylla's Guerrillas that last round. I think the difference maker would have been if both Mex and Abnai would have been droning for those 3 that pushed in through kitchen window, and that could have been a bit of a difference maker for that round.
It could have been a difference maker, but unfortunately it was not. So, moving further through into round number 9, and we are going to see Super on the Valkyrie. Something that to mention, though, is that after 2 rounds, Soniqs were in the exact same place when they were on the attack. They were 2-0 down, so it's not impossible for them to turn it around, and I wouldn't really count anyone out just yet. And also, Sunrise, we did mention, kind of hard to hold down without a mirror or a castle.
Yeah, that's very true. I would completely agree with you on that, but you have a Buck, an IQ, Hibana, a Capital, and an Ash coming on through for the attackers. On the defense, you have Echo, Smoke, Valkyrie, Legion, and Jaeger. Jaeger there to stop the projectiles from coming in. You have Avian on the Legion to provide the blanket operator of cues. Legion does so much for the defenders. He provides damage, provides audio cues, provides hindrance to speed for the attackers. He just does so much, and I'm honestly surprised to see that we haven't really seen any kind of Legion bans come on through since he's been added with the pick and ban operations.
That is true. That is true. But I feel like you're only ever go for like that Legion ban if there's like a shield player on the other team. You know, that kind of thing going on. If there's like a heavy shield player you intend to use, then you might ban out the Legion. But we do have kitchen control now for Mex, and generally once you get kitchen control, things should start to go pretty heavily your way for this attack. We haven't seen that happen just yet. And of course there is no glass being brought through, so you can't really abuse that side of it. But you just know there's someone sitting cool vibes, of course. Mex just droning out the site, seeing what's going on here as his drone gets destroyed. But he's got good intel here. He's actually going to rotate out kitchen. I really didn't think he was going to do that.
Yeah, I mean, with the barricaded door, if he ends up shooting it down, it gives away his position either way. So I'm not too weary. So he ends up rotating on away into the hallway. But with those shots coming out from Ghost, it'll force him to move out of position. But the diffuser will go down as Avian picks up the frag onto Nugs. Hibana will fall. Not too bad of a loss for Scylla's Guerrillas, but a loss nonetheless. Not loading really on a close corner with Avian upstairs, but Neptunes is going to take down not loading upstairs. Plant will start to come down. It'll successfully go down for Scylla's Guerrillas, and this is really good now despite being down 3-5. Either way, Neptune's on 1 HP. Temper takes down Neptune's. Abnai goes big onto Ghost, but Goddess shuts down Mex with a nice trade. 3v2. Diffuser goes down. 3v1 now, not loading. Sorry, Temper's gonna be able to take down the Avian. Super swings on through. We'll have to switch to the pistol. Super peeks around, getting very lit up. Runs out of ammo. He'll go down and pay the price. Not enough ammo to be able to take down the Soniqs, and the tie for the time being will be ensured in Soniqs' favor. And after a stellar start for Scylla's Guerrillas, they've kind of fallen off the wheels.
They have kind of fallen off just a little bit. That is unfortunate indeed, as Soniqs are going to put themselves on match point. And I said, I don't think it's going to be too good on the attack. It was kind of miscoordinated. They did get the diffuser down, however, but that retake twice now has been so effective from Soniqs just playing for trades. And yeah, they've done really, really well with it. So now this is going to be a very uphill battle for Scylla's Guerrillas to try and bring in the draw. Potentially, they could get away with it. I mean, we have said this is pretty attacker-sided throughout the season. But in my opinion, Scylla's haven't gone for, like, a decent execute yet. I mean, I say that, but they managed to get the plant down twice. So it's not, like, horrific from their side. It just seems like they have the plant down, but they don't have many things to support. Like, they're not cutting off rotates. They're not putting down like a huge amount of utility to deny those things going on. Like Mex playing in kitchen would have been a great opportunity. I mean, you argue that if you'd shot down the barricade, then he would have given away his position. I think it's fine for him to give away his position in that case. Like, he can hold that down. They have to contest him if they want to rotate.
Yeah, that's actually true. I thought about that, but at the same time, you know, just how Sonics have been playing, they play so well coordinated together. Usually, they play well coordinated together, but you know, just it's been really a bit frustrating for Scilla Guerrillas to see that they haven't been able to find anything for themselves on their attacks, and losing 3 rounds in a row, they're already faced with, at the very most that they can reach is a tie, and the worst thing that can happen for them is a 7-3 loss should it come to that at the end of this round. But one thing that I've been mentioning time and time again is that Scilla Guerrillas need to isolate Neptunes in order for them to have a pretty decent round. But you know, Neptune's just being an absolute X factor. If he manages to do well as he's done so far throughout this entire evening, it could be really detrimental for Scilla Guerrillas to not take him down. But if the Guerrillas manage to take him down early on, then I think they'll be in pretty good standings.
They could be in pretty good standings indeed. I think Sonics go into this matchup thinking that it should be not an easy win for them, but a win where they can go to a map that they're not so familiar with and still bring out a win, even if it is close. So, I mean, I still get the feeling from Sonics they're probably saving quite a lot of stuff for playoffs, and this is why they ban the same operators every single time. But that also makes them a very predictable team to play against. They've already played Coastline once before, so let's go into this matchup knowing what's going to happen. There feels like there's been a kind of misline on the prep coming out from it. But Super is going to go down to Mex there, pushing through Kitchen. As we see, it's now a 5v4 situation. And that's already Legion off the board. That's a pretty big pick to go that early on.
Huge pick indeed, just given the fact how important Legion is for late rounds. And with Super roaming on him, I don't agree with it. But at the same time, you know, he's the only one that could have really been roaming with Neptunes, who's sitting inside of Sonic currently. Not loading, getting really close to Neptunes. Neptune's going to peek on through, trying to line up the headshot, not wanting to give away his position. He'll do so effectively. He'll be able to walk away and see the rest of the round out for the time being, but unfortunately for not loading, not able to drone out and find exactly where he's playing. And just like that, it's going to pay for Scilla Guerrillas, and Neptunes finds the opening frag for the Sonics onto Mex.
Yeah, they've done well indeed for themselves to try and go to Blunt, but Avian with a great shot to Abanai is going to take his head clean off as he moves into a 4v2 situation. That may have just won them the round. Capital going down that early on before the execute is ready to go through. Avian with a great peek as Neptune's holding out from below. Temper looking to try and get a refrag, but it's only 30 seconds left to go on the clock. Temper cannot hold this angle. He's going to reload and he's going to shuffle about. It's like he's giving away his position. Neptune should be able to peek him out. Goes with pre-fires where he can. And Nugs does have control of the diffuser, so it's not all over yet. He will start to push through onto Sunrise Bar. He has managed to pinch him off completely, but Neptunes doesn't go down. What? Oh my god! Neptunes with a double kill to finish things off.
How does Scilla Guerrillas manage to let this happen? They completely just threw away 4 rounds in a row. I'm absolutely baffled and astounded as to how this just happened. Oh my goodness, that is really poor gun skill coming out from Temper, and a great job for the Sonics to win out 4 defensive rounds in a row, and an insane map coming out from the Sonics, after being shut down from Elevate on their previous coastline. You can tell that they really went back to the drawing board. They really wanted to fix what they needed to work on, and ultimately paid the price for them. Unfortunately for Scilla Guerrillas side of things, they got off to a hot start, and they just ran out of steam midway through and lost 4 crucial rounds.
Yeah, 4 attack rounds on the trot there for Sonics, doing very, very well for themselves. We're going to take a little bit of a break here before we do have an interview with the captain of Sonics. It's going to be Super. We'll be back in just a few moments. We'll catch you in a bit.